I'm emotional and I can't let go. I am trying to hold on to you, though it hurts me so. I gotta let you know that the love we both share now is through. Say goodbye. Oh my god, I can't believe it. This episode had me rattled, flabbergasted, bemused, dumbfounded, absolutely in a state of confusion. But here we are. Welcome to Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N, the first and only place for movie reviews live at the cinema. I am your boy Miles, aka Carl Thomas, and we are here for the season finale of Insecure Season 4, Episode 10. As you can tell, I'm sad. I'm genuinely sad. I am genuinely sad for so many reasons, but we will get into it. I'm gonna come clean before we even get into the episode. How I'm feeling right now, you know the nursery rhyme, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. I'm feeling like when Humpty Dumpty had a great fall and he's all in pieces on the floor. That's what I'm feeling right now. But for the sake of posterity, I'm gonna respect the structure of the episode. So the episode opens with Issa in some type of market. She's shopping for different bits and pieces. She's meeting Lawrence there. Lawrence comes then, you can see, you know, he's got something to say, and he tells her, almost reluctantly it seems, that he got the job in San Francisco. But you can see that's not really the most important thing on his mind right now. What he wants to know is what's gonna happen between them. Is that a deal breaker, him moving how many hours away? And Issa's like, no, it's not a deal breaker. She just wants to surround herself, in her own words, with people that make her happy, and Lawrence is one of them. And she even suggests, like, if things go really well, she might even end up moving to San Francisco. And me personally, I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously you want someone to be happy, but I don't want that to be at the expense of her dreams. So I don't know if her moving would be to the detriment of whatever business she has going on in LA. And she says San Francisco is only a 45-minute flight away. So, you know, the long distance relationship, it could work. They definitely don't. But in her words, they could work. And she says, you know, if we want it to work, it can work. That's another thing that's not true. As we will come to find later on in the episode. But you know, as it starts, both of them, it's feeling positive. The treasure is at the end of the rainbow. They can almost touch it. It almost seems real. It almost seems too good to be true. And it cuts to Molly and Andrew. They are at one of Molly's work events. You know, everyone's drinking, having fun. One of Molly's colleagues comes over and said, you know what? We're having an after party at this bar. If you guys want to, you can come through. Molly's like, yeah. Andrew's like, But even though you can tell that Andrew really doesn't want to, with some persuading, he agrees to go. Elsewhere, Issa goes to visit Nathan, who's in his barbershop, but uses that opportunity to apologize to Issa for what he said the previous week, and also tells her that he just needed to tell her how he really feels inside. And she lets him know, like, listen, her and Lawrence are together, so she doesn't want to put him in that position. So if that's too much for him, she would understand. But he's like, no, it's cool. I don't want you to be out of my life. And you can really tell that Nathan, he really has a huge soft spot for Lisa. He really loves that woman. Now Andrew and Molly get home after the after party, and you can see in Andrew's face, that boy is fed up. He is fed up. She asks him, oh, did you have a good time? And he's like, Boy, I know that face all too well. And you know what? Even still, Andrew leaves it. But now Molly's feeling tired. She wants to go to bed. Andrew wants to watch a show that they watch together. He says, all right, you can sleep, but I'm going to continue to watch it. And she's like, well, no, you can't watch it without me. And you can see this is kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Andrew goes into how he feels that every time Molly wants to do something, he has to comply. But every time Andrew asks Molly to do something, she always has a problem. But there's no give and take. It's either Molly's way or no way at all. And the argument is getting heated and heated. The phone is ringing, she ignores it once. The phone rings again, it's Kelly. Come to find out that Tiffany has gone missing. Now we know Tiffany has been suffering. You know, you've seen little sprinkles here and there of Tiffany suffering from postpartum depression, but he haven't really delved into it as much. And this is when everything comes to a head and she goes missing. They don't know where she is. I thought even though it was nice that they touched on it, and I've been wanting them to so badly, I don't think that the payoff for this was as much as I wanted it to be, in light that this is the final episode and we're going to have to wait until next year to even get into it even more. And I assume it's going to go forward in time anyway, so they're not going to go into it any further than they are right now. We're going to see like the aftermath of it, and I don't really know how I feel about that, to be honest. But as I said, Tiffany's gone missing. They're looking for her everywhere. They're calling her phone, they're leaving voicemails, text messages, emails. Derek is in a fluster. They're checking hotels that she might have gone to, bars, restaurants. They're calling here and there, can't find her, checking CCTV. And they made a little Minority Report reference, which I love that. Great movie, you should watch it. But from watching the security footage, they can see that she took a bus. And from the they match up the time and the route and everything. So they take the same bus that she took. And while they're on the bus, they're all trying to get hold of her. Kelly's there as well, Molly's there as well, Issa's there. All the friends came out like the Avengers to try and, this is a very tragic situation. So of course they're going to put any differences aside. But on this bus ride, a lot of things are happening at the same time. You have Derek, who is obviously distraught. He's worried, his wife, his child. He's mourning the death, not the death of their relationship, but mourning the state of their relationship, wondering how did he allow this to happen? How did things get so bad? And Issa and Molly are hearing this, and you can see it's resonating with them, and they're applying it to their own situation as well. Kelly's on the bus as well, and sitting next to her you have this gay white man who just refuses to mind his own business. And they put a subtle thing in there which I appreciate, when he was saying, my inner spirit animal is a black woman. We don't like when you do that shit, bro. You need to stop. So I'm glad that they put that in there, and I'm glad that they showed how easily he was able to switch from, my inner spirit animal is a black woman, to becoming a Karen basically. But Kelly manages to get a hold of the hotel that Tiffany is staying at. They get off, and a little mini altercation plays out because the bus driver refused to let them off the bus. You have this gay brother, and you have some other Karen that came out from nowhere to try and report them. These are the people that pressed the red button on the bus. And at one point you saw like the police officer had his hand on the gun. I was thinking, wow, are we gonna have play on this situation that's happening here? And obviously Molly, being an attorney, a lawyer, whatever you want to call it, she kind of de-escalates the situation. But I love Kelly though. She don't take no bullshit from anyone. I love that. And when they find the room that Tiffany is staying in, they're all together, and Derek takes it upon himself. He goes to the door. But this whole situation just puts in perspective how much focus has been on the deterioration of Molly and Issa's friendship, but at the same time it goes to show you the deterioration of their friendship circle in general. They haven't been spending much time together as a group, and because so much of the focus has been on Issa and Molly, they pretty much forgot what Tiffany was going through, and they kind of left her on her lonesome. And Derek knocks on the door, and Tiffany eventually opens it. But I won't lie though, in this scene when she opened the door, I was looking to see if I could see it in the room, because the way how they shot it, it was almost like there was a man in the room. I could have I was waiting for someone to bust around the corner, because she came out in a towel. How the door was, how the shot was framed, I was waiting for someone to walk out from behind the door. But the only words that Tiffany could find in this situation is just saying that she's sorry. Derek just held her. It was a very touching scene, and it was just left at that. Like, I understand why it was just left at that, but I still want to know more. I don't want to hear an explanation from Tiffany in that moment, but I want them to go even deeper in that, to why she's feeling. And unfortunately this is the last episode, like I said at the beginning, so I don't think we're gonna get that, but I would have loved to see them delve even further into that. Now that Tiffany's been found, Molly returns home. Andrew is asking, what happened? Is Tiffany okay? She finds out that it's okay. And Molly apologizes and said, listen, I'm sorry, we had to cut our conversation short. And Andrew's like, no, it's cool. I understand you may not want to get into that now. It's been a really long day, a really tough night. And Molly's like, no, I think after hearing what she heard on the bus, she was like, no, we need to try and sort through these things, because I don't want things to get too bad where it's not fixable. But unfortunately, darling, it's too late for that. I'm sorry for laughing, but we all saw it coming. It was foreshadowed throughout the season. Andrew was getting fed up. Every time Molly would come into the room, he's coming off of the phone. You could see Molly's just really not learning from her way. She's really selfish. I know he wasn't a fan of how she handled the situation with Issa, but this episode emotionally was a roller coaster, up and down, and that was kind of echoed in this scene. Because when Andrew was saying, you know what, I just don't think we match well, I was like I told you that boy is fed up and he's leaving. But at the same time I was sad, because you saw how vulnerable, and it was a shame that it took this for Molly to be vulnerable and kind of open up. but you could see Molly was desperate. She was sad, she was crying, she was distraught. But even so, Andrew is extremely emotionally intelligent. So he was able to see through that, and he was like, what are you even fighting for right now? In other words, you could see that Molly, she's upset, but not necessarily because she loves Andrew that much, but just her having to take this L, this vision that she's had, this illusion. It doesn't matter who. Andrew could have been anyone. That's why Andrew had to remind her, is this actually what you want? It's not about me, it's just about the idea, the shattering of your illusion. And Andrew said, you know what? Even though this is like the longest relationship either of them have had, Andrew says to her, should it be this hard? And that's a question not only for them, but for relationships in general. It shouldn't be that hard. Obviously there's stuff you need to work on, things you need to learn and understand about each other, but it really shouldn't be that hard. But even though I felt sad for Molly, it's still Now back to Issa. Woof! Boy oh boy, Issa's at home, Lawrence comes over, and you can tell again there's something weighing heavy on his mind. Two things. How they structured this episode I thought was beautiful, in the sense that the way how they structured it, and so much happening with Tiffany, Molly and Andrew breaking up, you almost forgot that Condola existed for a second. So here, looming over the distance, coming over the mountain like Godzilla, CONDOLAVIRUS is back. But Lawrence says to Issa, Condola came over last night and there's something that she wanted to tell me. And when he said that, I was like, no, surely not. Please don't say it. Don't you say that word.
She needed to talk.
Okay, about what?
I'm pregnant.
What?
I genuinely gasped. Again, what I will say is the editing for this scene was beautiful. You had two parallels of the two different scenes, and they edited it in such a way that when Issa would ask a question, it would be answered by Condola. So how they meshed it together, for example, she said, is she gonna keep it? And then Condola answered, yes, I'm gonna keep it. So how they interwove, I don't even know if that's a word, but how they interwove those scenes was beautiful. But oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I am so sad, fam. I know it's a fictional character, Issa, going through it, but I feel like I'm going through it as well. It's like, it's not only her dream shattered, it's my dream shattered too. When I heard that, I instantly got a headache. I had to take two paracetamol. But come on, Lawrence, bro. What kind of contraception were they using? Were they using condoms? Was she on a pill? Was she on the coil? Like, what was happening? How did one sneak through the net? How? As I said at the beginning of the episode, and I can't lie, there's a Carl Thomas tune for every single emotion in this episode.
Maybe in another life, things could be the way we both desired. It's a catch-22.
What would you do? You know, at the beginning of the episode, they talked about what would be a deal breaker. Is another man having a child a deal breaker for you? You know, in the wind down, they kind of touched on it, and I thought it was very poignant. They said, even though it's not the biggest deal in the world, you know, the older you get, you have to be prepared that if you're single, your partner could have a child. But at the same time, as I said, that fairy tale is shattered. That's taken away from you for sharing that experience of having your first child together, having each other's first child. The only thing Issa could do at that point is light a spliff. I understand that fully, because boy, it is a lot. Issa's been through a lot. She's come a long way. In the earlier seasons of Insecure, I didn't really like Issa, but she's shown growth as a character. That being said, the episode ends with Molly and Issa in the Ethiopian restaurant, their favorite restaurant together. It seems like Molly reached out to Issa, that bitch. That bitch, we all knew this would happen. When all the chips are down, when she has no one else to turn to, who does she turn to? After Andrew has had enough of her shit, who does she turn to? Oh, okay, obviously, back to Issa. It seems very ingenuine. It seems they can only be friends, or rather, Molly can only be friends with Issa when both of them are not at their best. And that's very toxic. I don't like that. Fuck Molly, man. Because as evidence has shown, if her and Andrew were perfect, She has no interest in being Issa's friend. So fuck Molly again. But damn, that's how the episode ends and that's how the season ends. When it ended like that, I started feeling like Tyrese. How you gonna end like that? How you gonna end like that, bro? We're gonna have to wait a whole year. This whole CONDOLAVIRUS pregnancy is gonna be sitting on my conscience for a whole year. And I'm not only sad for that reason, but also I've been a very staunch CONDOLAVIRUS supporter. But I'm heartbroken as well because she had a baby with someone else. I was trying to go half on a baby with her, but now I'm not calling her by her name no more. Now it's CONDOLAVIRUS, now it's condolences, now it's corned beef and rice, now it's canola oil, now it's condom. That's what you should have been wearing. Now you trapped my boy Lawrence. And it was interesting, she said as well, she said that she wasn't ready to have a baby with her husband, but now she's ready to have a baby with a man that's not even hers. Really? Again, I can't believe that we're gonna have to wait a year to hear this conversation between Issa and Molly. And they might even fast forward in time where they're already rekindled and mended their friendship. I don't know how I feel about that. But this episode was a lot to take, and we've come to the end of the season. It's been emotional. I'm glad that I decided to review this season. I'm glad that you guys have shown me so much love and support in the comments. I appreciate that so much that you joined me. It made my experience for the show so much better. I'm gonna miss you guys, and we will see you again next year for the Insecure recaps next year. Wow. Hopefully in 2021 will be a better year than 2020. But that being said, even though Insecure is coming back next year, maybe it might even be 2022. That being said, there'll be other content on the channel. So if you're interested, you're free to join us, free to like, share and subscribe to keep up to date with everything that we have going on the channel. And you can find myself and the Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N on all the socials. I'll put that on the screen so you can find us. And until next time, guys, peace.